After the Turkish lira plummeted in 2018 because of a political fallout with the US, over a dispute about an American pastor who was detained in Türkiye, accused of spying, Ankara decided to implement a new series of financial regulations based on partial capital controls, which attempts to boost the lira without raising the main interest rate. Turkey argues this has resulted in an economy that's less fragile to international developments, controlling the foreign currency investments. Due to the fallout from the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, emerging and developing nations shrank by 2.4%, according to International Monetary Fund. The US economy dropped by 2.8% in 2020, while the United Kingdom's economy plummeted by 11% and the European Union by 5.68%. But the Turkish economy kept growing, a 1.9% increase from 2019, emerging as one of the few to avoid the widespread contractions caused by the pandemic. To contain some negative effects, the government unveiled a new economic model in 2021 when the lira started to lose value.
With the measures we took and technical mechanisms we built, we first eliminated the traps set against our country through global financial instruments. We then refocused our economic program. We have created the Türkiye economic model that's based on investment, employment, production, exports and growth through current surplus. We stood out against the global problems on production and supply chains with our strong infrastructure, human resources and our flexible work model.
This new model was based on a managed floating plus regime, prioritizing low interest rates to boost exports, production and investments, and creating new jobs. Called the Turkish economy model, the program aims to lower inflation by flipping the country's chronic current account deficit to a surplus. These new steps are expected to protect lira investments and boost confidence in the Turkish currency. Analysts say more needs to be done in order to achieve that.
One of the aims of the Turkey's new economic model is to achieve sustainable current account balance, or let's say current account surplus. That's a good aim. That target is very important and would contribute to Turkey's development and growth process, and to have sustainable stability in all macroeconomic framework. I think we should add some more policies to achieve this goal. For example, tourism is one of the most important export sector of the world economy. It's the third biggest export item in the world economy. And last year, we were the third biggest receiver in terms of tourist revenue and tourist arrivals to Turkey. So we are good at tourism, but we should think also about how can we improve it.
Tourism revenue in Turkey jumped by more than a third in the first quarter of this year, maintaining last year's strong trend as a vital industry. Officials now aim to achieve a target of $60 billion this year, an all-time high. In line with this new model, the central bank cut its policy rate over 15 points since 2018, which eventually led the inflation ease to 43.7% in April, a notable regress compared to the peak of 85.5%, a 24-year high registered last October. The Turkish economy expanded by a better-than-expected 11.4% in 2021, its highest rate in a decade. And the GDP had expanded by 5.6% in 2022 on strong domestic demand and exports. In February, southern Turkey was shaken by a series of devastating earthquakes. It didn't only destroy the region's infrastructure, but also had a huge impact on the economy. According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, 11 provinces hit by the disaster accounted for some 20% of Turkey's agricultural production, and over 18% of its agricultural and forestry exports. The FAO estimates that the earthquakes have inflicted around $6.7 billion in losses and damages to the region's agriculture and livestock. The economy is now recovering from the effects of these tremors. Over $5 billion in regional funding has been allocated for the quake-hit regions. The World Bank says robust growth in private consumption and exports served as a significant driver of regional growth last year and helped Turkey's output expand by 5.6% in 2022. INAV has revised Turkey's economic growth estimate for 2023 up to 3.2% from 2.7%. With these predictions, Turkey is expected to end the year with the highest pace of economic growth among G20 countries. Asli Atbas, TRT World, Ankara.